Hello, comrades and peers. Meanwhile, I've read through the rules for soldiers of Napoleon. There are some interesting ideas in there. But what particularly struck me were the army lists for 1813 and 1815 and the data for the units. They didn't quite live up to my expectations, which raise a few questions. The French units are of course far from the parade time in the earlier years. But in Soldiers of Napoleon, it seems as if all other nations have not only caught up with them, they have even left the French behind. So I compared a few other rules and values of units with each other. A short preliminary remark. This isn't meant as a critic against this or another rule set, but food for thought about your games. How do we estimate troop quality in historical wargames? Now that we've got straight, let's look at it in detail. Yes, I will concentrate on the 1815 campaign, which ended with the iconic Battle of Belle Alliance, or Waterloo. Slightly simplified, armies in Soldiers of Napoleon get a campaign bonus to their start initiative role to implement the performance in the overall campaign. For 1815, the Prussian and French get a bonus of 0, and the Anglo-Allied contingent a +1 bonus. This seems for me a bit odd. The French army was the aggressive, more active force in this campaign. The Anglo-Allied force won at the end, but was forced into a more defensive position for the most time. This can point to a problem with our view of the past. We see what happened and often mistake it for a certain fate. Think about someone watching your miniature game. He watched your moves of good or well-painted miniatures and some unpainted ones. All represent static equal units. If because of your tactics or the gods of dice, the painted ones fare better encumbered, the observer assumes that the painted figures do better than unpainted ones. Our way to evaluate the quality of troops sometimes works exactly like that. The ex post observation can impose the ex ante evaluation on our table. Now we take a look at the upper class of fighting units, the Old Guard. In the rules of Soldiers of Napoleon, they are a step below an elite unit. On the other hand, the British Guard units are elite. The Old Guard was in 1815 behind their former height. But were the English Guards that much better? Was the French Guard performance well deserved or a badly missed moral check? So we take a look at some other rulebooks. In Shako or Total Emperor, both would be guard units, both in the highest moral class. Shadows of Eagles sees both units as superior and equal in performance too. Bataille Empire, a French rule system by the way, gives the Old Guard a higher status as the Anglo-Allied Guard units. But it has to be said that there are more degrees of troop morale here. Black Powder gives an Albion Triumphant a somewhat mixed picture. Both units are elite with similar statistics. The British Guard has some more firepower due to the special rules, but the Old Guard performs better in hand-to-hand combat. Point-wise, the British Guard units are a little more valuable than the Old Guard units. As we can see, most rules don't bother to differentiate much between type of guard units in this type of scale. This can somewhat compensate for our ignorance of the real historical conditions. But how do we as players deal with that? One thing is never wrong. Look into the literature for estimates of quality. You will probably find a variety of views, but you get a sense of the problem. After that, the practical approach remains. This is actually a simple thing. If you want to enforce the historical outcome, you should build the historical performance into your true quality. A self-fulfilling prophecy. But that's what you want. If the result should be more open, then you should give similar units similar values. This puts more emphasis on the action of the players and the dice. Every player and every unit can have a bad day or a good day. And think as Seneca did. The luck of war is always in doubt. Till then.